Welcome to Cross Culture with Bola. Welcome, and I am sure you're just as outraged and sad and upset as I am about this gun violence that seems to be engulfing our country and the indifference of those who should actually make a difference. For those of you who don't know, especially what happened this last week, we had an 18-year-old go into an elementary school armed with an AK-47 and killed so many kids, about 19 kids, in school. They were not at a place where they were not supposed to be, they were in school. And this just doesn't have to happen. See, I know we have a Second Amendment right to bear arms. It's a constitutional right. I do not know of anybody who is advocating taking away our Second Amendment rights. I don't know what the problem is with all these who are going around saying they want to take away our guns, they want to take away our guns. That's not what this is about at all. What this is about is having people with this caliber of weapons going around the streets. I mean, how do we in good conscience justify how an 18-year-old can go to the store and get an AK-47 at 18? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. An 18-year-old in this country cannot buy alcohol. He can drink beer. He can buy cigarettes. He can vote. He can go to the strip mall. Okay? Why should that person have access to an AK-47? I mean, in several cases in this country, Roper v. Simmons, Miller versus Alabama, the Supreme Court says the brain of an individual is not fully developed until they're 25. The American Psychological Association, all of them have concluded that at that age, there is a problem, that the decision-making part of the brain is not fully developed. So why would we give such a weapon to somebody who has low reasoning skills? What's going on with us as a country? What is the problem? How do we even sleep well? How do we justify the decisions that we make? I am not saying don't get a weapon to protect yourself. We have a right to self-defense. Nobody is arguing that. But what we're talking about is access to this high caliber assault rifle. What do you need that for? What's going on? Sandy Hook was a few years ago. We were all outraged about what happened. And now we have these kids. How many kids need to die? How many adults need to be killed before we all sit down and decide to have a conversation around common sense gun laws? In Africa, where I grew up, of course, we don't have the Second Amendment right. Those who carry weapons around are typically the bad guys. They are the guys who want to rob, who want to kill. They're the outlaws, basically. We don't have those rights. So I understand and I appreciate the constitutional right to bear arms. I really do. I think we need to, to have access to, weapons to protect ourselves, to protect our family. I get it. But AK-47? For what? Who needs an AK-47 to protect himself or herself? I am talking as a mother. I can't even begin to imagine the pain that the parents of these children are going through. I can't even begin to imagine what it is like to be in their shoes. And I think it's high time people like you and I stood up and begin to advocate for what we believe. We need to say enough is enough. We need to tell our politicians, no, we're not taking this anymore. We don't want to lose any more lives to it. And what do? I don't know how many of us vote. We need to vote on the issues that we believe in. We need to begin to ask those who are asking for our vote, what are you going to do to stop gun violence? This is one violence too many. And children, oh my God, children. Now we are having children killing children. How do we defend that? How do we justify that? I mean, this should give us sleepless nights. I'm not advocating that, we worry about being, victims of gun violence and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about us really getting up, talking to our elected officials and making sure that when they go to Congress, they pass some laws that keep everybody safe, that keep our children safe in school. These kids were in school, for crying out loud. They weren't out there on the streets where it's not safe. And if children are not safe in schools, where are they going to be safe? Where? So this is a mother pleading with all of us, every single one of us. Every single one of us who is qualified to vote, every single American, let's do something to stem this tide. Let us make sure that we're communicating these things loud and clear. I believe in the Second Amendment. Most of us do. It's a constitutional right that we hold so dearly. But the Second Amendment does not give us the right to go on a rampage and just keep killing people. I don't think the intent of the forefathers is that we have people carrying AK-47 on the streets. No, that's not what it is. And it's high time we talked to ourselves, that common sense prevails in this, and we say, okay, yes, there are some guns that should be restricted to the armed forces, to the officials who keep us safe, and on the streets we can have weapons that protect us. This needs to stop, for God's sake. Thank you.